Hello, hello. All right, so I just went live on the group probably, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes ago. Now I am here with you. I told you guys yesterday I would be going live today as well. I'm actually going to be going live every day this week. So hopefully you guys caught my live yesterday where I went through a complete evaluation as far as showing you how to make a state complaint and the things that I say and how I think about things. And I hope you got a lot from that. I know I got some comments with that, so that was great. So for those of you who are catching me live, say it's your first time, second time, third time, you're new, okay? I'll give you that. After your third time, guys, you are no longer new. You are old. So post a 1 below if you are new, first through third time. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. You guys know what to do, okay? And if you're catching me live today, you want to share this and you want to click notifications. Clicking notifications lets you know when I go live and I'm sharing all my crazy IEP-ness, okay? And you want to catch me live, I'm telling you. If anything, it's entertaining. I'm just kidding. So really, truly click live and then you'll know when I'm live and you can watch it later or you can catch me then, whatever. Okay? Share this and I'll give you a shout out. Okay? And I want you guys to know I'm super excited about this announcement tonight. Like I said, I already went over to my group and announced that because, you know, the group, they get kind of first dibs, you know, how it goes. So if you guys want in on the group, head on over there. Put it in the search bar, Autism Mama Rocks IEP group. And you guys can participate in the giveaways. I gave away $100 worth of Amazon gift cards this month. Yeah, I give away things for free. So if you guys want free stuff and want a community that actually really, really supports each other, so many good questions come up. The group's amazing. If it's not for you, totally fine. But I always offer that because it's that good. It really is. And I'm not always present. I'm present, but I think it's amazing that so many of you guys are knowledgeable in this and sharing what you know. And I love that. That's what a group's all about, for all of us to collaborate and not just me answer all the questions. I'm so glad you guys are answering the questions. And if people need help or things, you know, need corrected or whatever, I'll step in a little bit. But you guys are amazing. So you don't need that a whole lot sometimes. So with that said, oh, yeah, absolutely. You know what? That's the one thing I think I was telling you guys. You know, IEP makeovers is probably my favorite thing to do. Right, Stephanie? I love IEP makeovers. I don't know what it is about IEP makeovers, but I really, you know how like when you do a job and, you know, I love talking about IEP stuff, obviously. And I don't like, but I will tell you what I don't like. I don't like the reason why I talk about IEP stuff. I wish it was more of a good thing, you know, excitement and sharing the love and the wins, you know. I wish it was more of that. But bottom line, I love what I do. But IEP makeovers, oh my God, I love going through IEPs and just tearing them apart sometimes. And I like making goals, which I'm going to be doing tonight for Stephanie. And I enjoy it. It's just something I really enjoy. And it's not one of those things like, oh my God, I got to make Jonathan's goals, you know, like I really like it. So with that said, guys, I haven't even introduced myself. So there's probably new people on here and they're like, who are you? So my name is Raven Woods and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP. And I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence, hopefully, to become the CEO of your IEP meeting, which is what you need to do. So yes, I want you guys to become so confident that you guys just don't need me anymore, ever. So hey Tina, how are you? And Cynthia and Stephanie and Cassie, hello. Hi, is it Dial Light? Welcome. Amber, hello, welcome. See guys, we got all these new people. Cynthia, you are not new. You better take that one away. I don't know why you have that one there. You are crazy. All right, so we have we have Jan. Welcome, welcome. Hey, lady. And yeah, and Logie. Hey, how are you? And Michelle. All right, and Kim is back. All right. I'm so glad, Tina. I'm so glad. And I promise I'm going to read your PM later on tonight. So, guys, do you want me to give you content or information about the course first? You guys choose. Let's do. Hi, Anna. How are you? Okay, let's just talk about the course because I'm really excited about it. And I don't know if I'm more excited about the course or I'm more excited to be done. It's a lot of work. No, seriously, aside from my large course, I really liked doing this course. I like doing video. So it's 6 videos and then it's a 35-page workbook. And it's all about services, accommodations, and modifications. And you learn everything from the very bottom, which is the law and what services, accommodations, and modifications really are. Not necessarily everything that you Google, okay? A lot of things people just don't tell you. Then I go into, getting you thinking about, what services, accommodations, and modifications does your child really need? And yeah, it goes way beyond occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy. What you can ask for in ESY. And no, ESY is not a 9 to 2 or an 8 to 1. The other thing that we go through, so you pinpoint what it is and you think about it. I explain how you can even go more in depth to expand what your child can really benefit from. And bottom line, at the end, the last video specifically, I tell you how to just freaking get it, okay? So if your child needs a service, accommodation, and modification, shoot, just bypass everything and watch video 6, all right? Or 5. And I'm putting an extra video up there just as an extra. So yeah, I'm excited about it. And I hope you guys are too. I know so many of you have been waiting. It's super, super cheap. I should probably raise the price right now, shouldn't I? No, I'm just kidding. It's cheap. All right. And I did that on purpose because I want kids to get as many services. You just ordered. Awesome. As many services, accommodations, and modifications that they can possibly get. Most kids, most IEPs that I do a makeover. Is there anybody that's an oldie but goodie that can post the link in the comments section for me? It's also Cassie on the page. But if there's anybody that can post the link for me, I would be really happy. If not, Cassie, I will post it when I get off here. Okay. But yeah, I'm just really excited about it. I really think that you guys will like it. And any input, ask the people who have bought my large course. Okay. Any input. I want it better. So if you have an idea or you have questions regarding the course as far as, okay, Raven, I just watched, video 4. I got a quick question. I'm going to answer it. You bought the course. You deserve to know whatever it is that you want to know in regards to your question. Okay. I can promise you that you're not going to be ignored. I know that can happen. You buy the course and you don't even see the person who created the course. That's not going to happen. So know that you're going to be taken care of and your questions are going to get answered, and any constructive criticism or, if it was good and you really loved it and you learned a lot, I want to know all of that. And, you can email me at support@autismmamarockstheiep.com. Again, that's support. All right. So Cynthia posted the link to the course. Click it and grab it now, guys. It's super, super, super cheap. So with that said, all of you guys who have already bought it, please let me know what you think. I really want to know. All right. And they're short videos, like 30-ish minutes, and you learn a lot. Okay. A lot. I go through a lot. And yes, I did not leave data My favorite thing in the whole wide world, out. Okay? But what I love the best too is how you just go get it. And PPPN. Plan and prepare and present and persuade and negotiate. And yep, I trademark and registered that booger because it's genius. It's exactly what I do and it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And I do it again until it does. And that is the key, is being persistent and being consistent with what is right and what is owed and deserved. Okay. And I say owed because it's not being given to them now and they obviously possibly need it. Right. And, you have to actually present what you're wanting in the right way so that you can persuade them to say, okay, we'll give that a try. All right. So with that said, grab the course. It's in the comment section, or if you get off here, it's on the page in a link. Okay. And again, it's all about services, accommodations, and modifications. You get in your workbook so much information in regards to all types of services, accommodations, and modifications. Therapeutic riding, even. And so many more. I think you'll be floored at how many different accommodations and modifications are out there. I go into depth in regards to behavior type services and modifications and accommodations as well. Okay. So with that said, let's get on to some content. All right. So hopefully everybody had a wonderful day. Is everybody still adjusting and doing well with all this COVID stuff still going on? I know Florida and Texas and California is really, really spiking up there. Anybody live in those areas? How's that going? Hopefully everybody stays well and healthy and does not get sick. All right. So we're going to talk about IDEA. I'm glad you're excited. Yes, I'm excited too. I'm excited to hear from you guys and hear what you think. All right. We're going to talk. Remember we talked a couple days ago about highly qualified teachers, and we talked about closing the gap. I don't like that topic, I'll be honest with you. Because if you really think about it and you think about, a child and that gap, it'll infuriate you as to what happened, who dropped the ball. And, it happens all the time. I'm dealing with some stuff right now where the not with my own personal, but, where the school system dropped the ball. They know they dropped the ball. They admitted they dropped the ball, but they won't own it. How do you admit that you dropped the ball but not own it? I don't get that. And you're willing to fight and put the parent through so much stress when you all are the ones who dropped the ball. I don't get it. So anyway, I don't think I'll ever get it. I really don't. I don't get why if you do something wrong, own it. Yeah, sometimes we got to pay the price and we move on. But there's no respect going to be given if you don't own it and deal with it and move on. We're all human. But that's where the distrust comes in. Am I right? Where you don't apologize to the parent. You don't own what you did. You don't rectify it. You don't provide compensatory services. You gripe and moan in IEP meetings and reverse what really happened to make it about the parent and act like it's their fault. Or, oh, you misunderstood. You miscommunicated. There must have been a misunderstanding. Have you guys ever heard that crap? They flip, they didn't do something, something wasn't done right, but then they make it about you misunderstanding or you not understanding something right or something didn't happen or they're denying something that happened when good and well it did. That is frustrating. And, what would save a lot of parents, even myself, a lot of stress and turmoil when we're already dealing with children with special needs. That's enough in its own self, that you just do things that are right. Give the kids what's needed and deserved. Stop making it about politics. These are kids. Just my thoughts. Doesn't mean anything. Just my thoughts. All right. So we're going to talk about research-based methodology today. All right. We talked a little bit about this the other day. All right. And we're going to talk a little bit about annual goals. Yeah. All right. And goals being comprehensive and smart, right? And then we'll continue. By the end of the week, we'll be getting to parental consent, a little bit about evaluations, and things that you need to make sure that you request before the start of this year. All right. So who knows a little bit about methodologies? All right. Just to give you kind of an example, think about it as far as you've probably heard in regards to reading. You know me, I go straight to reading because there's good methodologies in reading. All right. For example, you have the Orton-Gillingham that's scientifically based, peer-reviewed, highly recommended, and it's amazing for all children who need to learn to read and read better. But it's kind of in that arena of with dyslexia and dysgraphia and so forth. But it honestly works for all children. So if your child has difficulty reading, find out. Have evaluations. It's called the CTOP 2 assessment that can be done and that you can request be done for your child, and it will test them for dyslexia. All right. So believe it or not, a lot more children than you think have dyslexia. And no, it's not just writing backwards. If you Google it, it has nothing to do with writing backwards. That's just one of many things that are produced and presenting themselves. Okay. So it's one of those things where you want to get that checked out and find out what the problem is. All right. And then that's where research-based methodologies comes in, so that you can then present and persuade the team in regards to what that research-based methodology is. Okay. You want to make sure it's research-based. You want to make sure it's peer-reviewed, scientifically based, and then you can easily grasp what the argument is and then make it about your child. All right. I teach that in my 5 laws, the top 5 laws that I have in my educational vault. And I go through all the top 5 laws with an idea that's going to affect you, that you have to know and understand, like 1414 and 1415. Okay. And you guys got to know them, and not just know them like as in read them. You need to know what it means and how you can make it about your child's impact of disability, so that you can then present it to the team and persuade them that this is what is right for my child. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to read something to you really quick. It says here, Congress found the implementation of IDEA has been impeded by the failure of schools to apply replicable research on proven methods of teaching and learning. It goes on to say IDEA 2004 includes numerous references to scientifically based instructional practices and research-based interventions. In describing permissible uses of federal funds, IDEA 2004 includes providing professional development to special and regular education teachers who teach children with disabilities based on scientifically based research to improve educational instruction. And that's in section 1411. Now, like we talked about a couple days ago, you need to understand that, yeah, see top 2. So what you need to understand is that if more teachers were highly qualified, and when I say highly qualified, I don't mean you have your bachelor's in teaching and you can teach. I mean that you have extensive training that's ongoing, not a six-hour training, and all of a sudden you can teach an Orton Gillingham based research, based, scientifically based, peer-reviewed based methodology when it actually takes a year to get a certification. What the heck is 6 hours going to do for my child? What is it that you are going to know in 6 hours when it takes 1 year to actually get certified in either group or individual? And here's the thing too, we talked about this a little bit the other day. After those 6 hours, sometimes they'll do 12. Then they a lot of school systems will then say, okay, go train everybody else at the school. Yeah, it happens. All right. And I do want to address something really quick because this kind of frustrated me the other day. All right, so there was this speech therapist. She had messaged me, and this was, she said, can you remove me from your page? And I said, no, but you can remove yourself and not like it. And she said, because I think she's a speech therapist. And she said, I think you just bash all educators and whatever. And I said to her, I'm really sorry. I respect your opinion. And I said, I'm actually a previous teacher. And I said, but I'm also a mom. And I said, are you a mom of a child with special needs at all? And she wasn't. She was the speech therapist. And I said, well, in all due respect, I love speech therapy. My daughter has speech therapy. But I will say you're not privy to a lot of the things that goes on behind closed doors in administration. I said, so all the things that I talk about that I do because I want to keep it real for parents so they know exactly what's going on, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all put together. And, it's important to me that parents learn that and know that. And if they don't, they can unfollow me, and that's fine with me. But I said, if I don't get that out there with as many parents that are out there that truly want the help, that are just, really just at that point of what do? I just want the help for my child. I just want more speech therapy. I just want more OT so my child can grow and progress. And I said, so it's easier said than done to say, hey, I bash educators, which I don't do, because you hear some negativity going on because of what goes on behind closed doors in the administration side and what goes on with our children not being provided what's needed and appropriate. And I think she thought about that for a second. And, I thought that was interesting because it bothered me, but at the same time, I don't have a whole lot of that going on. So I'm okay with it, and I digested it just fine. But I am saying to you, in no way, shape, or form would I ever bash a teacher. But I will be honest, and I will state facts, and I will state the things that are going on in regards to our school systems that are affecting our children. Why? Because I have 3 IEP meetings that I'm attending with parents this week. At meetings that I attend a ton each month. And at each IEP meeting, I find something crazy that happens or something that's done, or in IEPs, I see things that should not be there. And, I see the way staff reacts when you have something to say about it, and how they make parents feel when parents are asking questions and want to know more and are not getting answers and are not getting things that should be done accurately for their kids, or they're being told one thing and other things are being done. So with that said, I will always keep it real. I always will be transparent. I will tell you the good, because there is good and there's amazing teachers out there. And then there's also things within the school system that happen and are happening every single day, and it needs fixed. And the only way to fix it is for us parents to gather together and be on the same page with it and fight for what our kids need and what's appropriate for them. And in all honesty, that's what's important here. That is why I'm here. That is why I do what I do, so that kids can get what's needed and appropriate for them, and that their IEP makes sense, and that what's in it makes sense for that child, and that it doesn't, you look at it, and there's some IEPs I look at and I'm just like, what is this? It just doesn't make sense to me. Some of the goals are just like, how do you accomplish this? When is it supposed to be accomplished? Because there's no measurability on it. Or, some of them must say, the child has to do XYZ at 80%. Well, what at 80%? 80% of what? So there's like all these things that are happening. And then you go and you say, oh, I want my goal changed. And they want to throw a fit about it when they're the ones who didn't write the correct type of goals. And they hate it when I say an IEP meeting, I'll say, it's really unfortunate that I have to teach you how to write goals. However, I redid them all for you, so here you go. And I send it to them in a Word document. And they hate that. They hate it. But you know what? Get used to it, because I'm going to keep doing it until educators learn how to write the correct goals. And they learn how to write SMART goals. They need to be specific. They need to be measurable. They need to be actionable. And if they're not measurable, they can't be actionable. And they need to be realistic. And if they're not measurable, they can't be realistic. So if you don't have that measurement part, you can't be realistic and you can't be actionable. And then time limited. A lot of goals, people just assume, oh, it's 1 year. But you know what? If it doesn't specify that, there's no documentation of when that child's supposed to accomplish that goal. Just because the IEP ends in a year, if there's not dates on that goal, when does it end? Right. Same thing with short-term objective goals. I know I'm off topic. I'm going to get back to the methodology. But short-term objective goals, it should always be, all right? You should always be November, February, and at your year. November is the first goal, so it should be November 2020, February 2021, and then May 2021. All right? That's where your goals should be. And if they're not, change them. All right? And always measured by report data collection. And you can add. I always add like written work, class work, all that, because I want to see that. So always say report data collection, because you want to see what they took, their data, their logs. Okay? If you've never asked for your child's speech or occupational therapy or physical therapy log, you need to ask for that. And you want to just make sure that you have everything in order with that. Okay, so let's get back to methodology now that I got totally off track. All right, so going back to methodology, scientifically based research to improve educational instruction is important, but you got to make sure you have those qualified teachers. All right, so qualified teachers is a teacher who has extensive training in a type of methodology that they are then teaching and educating. All right, a lot of reading specialists, unfortunately, teach one way, and that's why, do you know it's only like 30% of kids learn to read today? And what happens to everybody else? The statistics there are horrid, and it needs to change. So now we're going to move on to, there's a statement, an idea that states about special education and related services, supplementary aids and services are based off peer-reviewed research. I talk about this in my mini course that is in the comments. You can click it and purchase it today. It's super cheap. And on services, accommodations, and modifications. I talk about this. I talk about peer-reviewed research and how you take the law in idea and make it about your child. Okay, so this is talking about a statement of the special education and related services and supplementary aids and services based on peer-reviewed research to the extent practicable to be provided to the child. That's in section 1414. So with that said, I take that section of 1414 in my top 5 laws, but I also am providing this to you in the course, and how to make it about your child. All right. So then we have where it states an idea, and this is important too. The language and idea in 2004 creates new requirements, okay? So what this means is the schools must use scientifically based instructional practices and interventions that are based on accepted peer-reviewed research if such research exists, all right? Or it can't be used. There's a program out there that I want to tell you guys about. It's a reading program. It's called Fontes and Pinnell. It is not a good program. The schools, and it's not a good program because of how the schools use it. All right? And I've talked to you guys about this before. There's a teacher who wrote an article, and it was very alarming, and you know, it was kind of validated by other teachers and so forth, how she got fired because she refused to teach the kids how to memorize the reading test in Fontes and Pinnell to then go take it. So she said, no, but I'll teach the Fontes and Pinnell way, which is a decent way for children not with dyslexia or serious reading problems, and the right way, and then they take the test and you see where their present level is. The schools, because they wanted to rank higher in whatever it is, I don't know the exact name or whatever, but you know how when you're moving to a certain state and you can look up the school districts and where they score and how the kids are scoring? Well, the school wanted higher scoring because I guess they get funding for that. I don't know all the intricacies of it, but basically she said, no, I'm not doing that. I will teach them the proper way. They will take the test and it will be valid and based off the knowledge that they have. And then we will know where they are. And the school fired her. So teachers are being told by their administrations, principals, to have the kids scapegoat the test and have the kids, learn by memorizing and then quickly taking the test so that the scores are higher. So you have to be careful of that. So basically you want to make sure, you need to always verify that whatever is going on in the school, whatever methodology is being given, that it is scientifically based and peer reviewed. You always want that, okay? And by requiring the child's IEP to include a statement, okay, of special education and related services, supplementary aids and services, all right, based on peer-reviewed research. And Congress clarified this, okay, that IEPs must include research-based methodologies, okay? So that is important. And just going back to reading, because it's an easy one to state, is that Orton-Gillingham way that I was just telling you about, that is a structured literacy type of reading program. And it is very good. So just make sure that whatever it is being provided to your child is research-based methodologies. A lot of school systems will not want to answer your question fully in regards to what is being taught, how it's being taught, who is teaching it, and what their training is. Did you know that you can actually, and it is within your rights to say, what is the background of the gen ed teacher? What is her specialty? What is her education? You have a right to know that. You have a right to know her history with her educational experience. You do. And you can ask that question, and they cannot avoid it. It's specific within IDEA that you have a right to know their background, their educational background. Okay? So ask. Don't be afraid to ask. All right? So, one of the things I think is kind of interesting is school officials often refuse to write educational methodologies into IEPs. Did you know that? They sure do. And they argue that teachers should be free to use an eclectic approach. Not cool. All right? To educating children with special needs and disabilities and should not be forced to use any specific methodology. How many of you have said, hey, I want this specific program done with my child because it is peer reviewed and research based? And they say, oh, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. We cannot do that here. All right. So what does that mean? They're literally denying your child FAPE in regard to providing the most accurate, research-based education to your child. And if you can prove that they are not properly educating your child, that's a denial of FAPE. And if they're using a program that is not educating them, they're not making progress, then you need to make sure something changes. Don't give in because they want to bully you. Don't give in because they want to continue to fight you. I'm one of those people. I will not give up. Bring it. My child is coming first. So we will go back and forth until you do what's right. And I will make sure to be a royal pain in your ass until you do what's right by my child. And that's what you gotta say, guys. You cannot just say, oh, I can't handle it anymore. And I know. I'm a mom of a child with disabilities. I know how frustrating it can be. I know how it can get to the point where you're just like, I can't deal with this anymore. This is crazy. It's like ongoing fight. I don't have the energy within me anymore. I get it. And believe me, I've said that multiple times in the many years I've done this. But then I get up the next day and I do what I do, because it's okay to just be done for the day. But it's important, guys. It's just important to stay consistent with what's right. And, this is based off idea. I wanted my notes to be based off idea tonight. Okay. So if you're hopping on, I notice a lot of people are hopping on and that sort of thing. Post a 1 below if you're new. All right. That's your first through third time catching me live. If you are an oldie but goodie, post a 2 below. You guys know what to do. At the beginning of this live, I let people know that I am launching my Services, Accommodations, and Modifications mini course. I believe the link is in the comments. It's also here on the page. And I'm thrilled. It's super cheap. And I'm just super excited about everything that is in it. You learn everything you possibly can about services, accommodations, modifications. If there is something you don't learn in the course, you need to come to me and tell me, because it's all in there. All right. And how to get it, what you need to do, and making sure things get done in regards to your child, getting the proper, not just services, accommodations, and modifications. That's not what's important. It's getting your child exactly what they need, what their unique being, if you will, needs. Each child needs something different. Okay. And fighting, I say fight, I don't mean fight. I mean just being persistent in what it is that is going to be and do right by your child and what is deserved. I say owed to. They freaking need to be given it. It's owed to them. They deserve it, if not more. Schools are supposed to be providing them to the maximum extent possible to get them to be individuals that can have jobs and be people that can just do what they need to do based on their disability and be the best they can possibly be. All right. Schools are supposed to be aiming for that. When kids turn 14, they're supposed to be getting them technical, support to do different things and get them out there. I'm the kind of mom that, if my child is kind of iffy about something, I push her and, want her to do it more and more so that she gets used to it. Then, of course, I'll pull back if behaviors kind of go up and she needs to relax a second. And then we talk about it and then we go do it again. And, she gets better and better. But based off the child's impact of disability is how you go about that. And schools need to do the same. All right. They need to understand that each child is individual, each child is unique, and to stop being, it's almost like they're greedy on services, accommodations, and modifications when they know that the child needs it. And let me tell you something that will make me fly off my handle. All right. Because this is something I dealt with today in an IEP meeting. I no longer want to see IEPs that say your child has a consultation monthly with an OT. What the hell is that? Your child either needs OT or they don't. Because I really don't see the purpose in a consultation. Do you? What is a consultation? And if you have a consultation, it should be associated and linked with the OT. What do you mean you're giving me an hour and a half consultation every month? The child, an hour and a half. What does that mean? Ask them. Say, what does that mean? What does that look like? Oh, okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, put that in the IEP. If they say that your child's going to get an hour or hour and a half of consultation every single month in OT, but not give your child OT, explain that to me. Tell me what that means. Have them explain it to the point where you completely understand and agree. And if you don't agree, then you have them explain it again. And I'm going to tell you, it makes no sense. Because I asked about it today. Tell me what you mean about a consultation. The child either has fine motor difficulties, which is what you state in his present levels, or he doesn't. And if he does, then you give him OT, damn it. You don't say he needs an hour and a half consultation. What the heck is that going to do? You're going to go talk to the teacher for an hour and a half each and every month to consult with her, to teach the teacher how to implement certain occupational type therapies in the educational setting in the least restrictive environment, but not give the child the occupational therapy and fine motor address the fine motor issues that the child has in a one-on-one setting? I don't get that. Service provider talks to the teacher, and it's crap. And here's the thing here's the solution. All right. If they can't walk you through what that looks like, okay? So if your child, post a heart below. If your child in their IEP, I want a heart. It can be a blue or red heart. If your child's IEP states occupational therapy, physical therapy, or speech therapy, consultation. They don't get speech therapy. They don't get occupational therapy. They just get a consultation. Post a heart in the comments below. I want to talk to you. I want to help you get out of that if that's what you want. Because it makes no logical sense. It's almost backwards. Let me explain something to you. If you're in an IEP meeting, all right, and your child has where it says consultation, let's just say hour and a half, okay, which is the typical hour and a half a month, and then they'll go in, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. What is that going to do? All right, do you think they go in one time for an hour and a half? They don't. I can guarantee you they do not. So that means for an hour and a half each month, what is that? 15-minute increments? That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. What is 15 minutes, 5 times whatever a month, gonna do for my child? Tell me how that's productive. Tell me that is not just a waste of time and effort in just putting that wording in the IEP. If that child needs occupational therapy, speech therapy, etc., give them the speech therapy and occupational therapy, because a consultation does nothing. If my child needs a consultation, I'll go to the outside and I'll get a consultation with the occupational therapist. As far as my child's concerned, in the educational setting, if you're going to put consultation, that means they need the services. That is what that means. It may mean minimal, because obviously the consultation part is their way of getting out of it, because your child may only need it in a minimalistic way, or they have only 1 or 2 things that need to be worked on, like maybe gripping a pencil or whatever. Who cares? An issue is an issue. It's a struggle. I don't care if it's a half of a thing. They need that occupational therapy until that half of a thing is fixed and mastered, period. Don't allow school systems to dictate to you that your child doesn't need a service, accommodation, and modification, which is what I go through in my course. That's in the link below. Don't let them dictate to you that your child, he doesn't need it that much. He doesn't. All right. So what we're going to do, this is what they say. What we're going to do is since he doesn't need, a whole lot of occupational therapy, this is what we're going to do for you. That's what they say. I know. Isn't that what they say? This is what we're going to do for you. What we're going to do for you is we're going to do an hour-and-a-half consult. You want to know what that does? All right. I'm going to tell you what that does. When your brain and your ears hear, this may sound crazy, but I'm serious. I've done training in this. All right. I've actually taught people some training in this. When you hear hour and a half, we automatically think a large number because an hour and a half, just think about it. All right. When you hear, oh, you got to sit for an hour and a half. Oh, you're going to an hour and a half training. You're thinking, oh shit, that's a long time. So when you hear that and they're saying, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you an hour and a half of consultation. Your child's going to have an hour and a half where we're going to talk with the teacher and we're going to make sure things are going good, blah, blah, blah. Right? So this is what you do. You say, oh, okay, so you're going to give my child a consultation in occupational therapy because obviously he needs it. And so you're going to, instead of giving it to him, you're going to go and be lazy and give the teacher 15 minutes of, I don't know, training, a pep talk, I don't know. And then the teacher's supposed to do what? That's what I say. That's exactly what I say. And then they kind of like look at me and, and then they say, well, we're going to get back to that. That's what they'll say. They'll try to change the subject. We're going to get back to that. We're going to come back to that. Nope. We're not going to come back to that. We're going to talk about it right now. And thank you guys for whoever it is that's sharing. If you share, post in the comments that you shared, and I will give you a shout out, I promise. I'm on my little tangent here, but it's stuff I see all the time. Stop doing the consultation thing. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of their time and yours and your child's most specifically. If your child needs occupational therapy or speech therapy or whatever therapy it is they need, and the school is willing to give them a consultation, they need the service. Okay? The school is taking the lazy way out to basically say, but we're going to give them an hour and a half of consultation every month. Now, when you're talking about, oh, thank you. When you're talking about, thanks, Tina. When you're talking about this in the team, say, okay, I play dumb. Play dumb. Yep. Anybody out there in administration? Yep. We do it all the time. I play dumb all the time. So what you got to do, guys, is you got to say, I don't understand. I don't understand what a consultation is. Explain that to me. Make them explain it to you in detail. And if you don't understand, ask them to tell you again and again. All right. Then you're not going to understand it because it doesn't make sense. They're going to say, oh, I go into the classroom. And the lady even told me today, she said, I work with all the kids, not just with Jonathan. And, I show the teacher different strategies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Which I am not against that. But I think, honestly, that should be done in every classroom because it could benefit every child, even children without special needs. Just like accommodations can benefit all children, even children without special needs. Okay? So I'm not negative to it. What I'm negative to is don't waste my time or my child's time with your stupid consultations. Give my child the speech therapy, occupational therapy that they need, and then have your OT and speech therapist go into the classroom and also consult to help all the children. How about that? That's a win-win, right? That makes sense. That's providing your child what's needed and appropriate, and all children something more, which is what needs to happen. Okay? I get on the just being a devil's advocate and having been a teacher, I know the problem is they have a lack of therapists, occupational therapy, speech therapy, PT. All right. So school districts and school systems are struggling trying to accommodate all children with special needs, which is growing and growing, as we know. And what's happening is the school systems have now been put in a position, which I'm going to be on your side for this one, guys, is they're like, oh, what do? We don't have the therapists. So what do they start doing to you? Nope, we can't do that. Your child doesn't need that. We'll do a consult for you. Hour-and-a-half consult. We'll do that for you. We work with all children, but we'll do an hour-and-a-half consult on your IEP. So when this lady told me today, and I got to thinking about it after the IEP, and we're meeting again, and she said to me, we're going to do an hour-and-a-half consult of OT. She went on to then say, but I don't just work with Jonathan, not his real name. I don't just work with Jonathan. Well, what are you doing then? Oh, I'm consulting with the teacher and I'm working with all children and teaching her how to accommodate the different children in the classroom. So I said, okay, but aren't we talking about Jonathan's IEP right now? She said, yeah. But when I consult, I teach the teacher how to do it with all the children. And I do pay attention to Jonathan and I work with him and, all the things that he needs, especially, with the fact that he sticks everything in his mouth and he's going into 3rd grade and he sticks everything in his mouth and, he'll chew on the desks. This is for real, guys. He'll chew on the desks and he'll stick paper in his mouth and, all the things that he's doing and putting in his mouth because of the sensory issues. And, I'm talking to the teacher on how she can work with that. I said, that's interesting because, when a child has sensory issues, usually, and a lot of times that's based off an anxiety towards something. Something is happening within their setting that is setting them off. So this child is taking action so that he can desensitize himself. And so what's happening here is something needs to happen to desensitize him without putting him in harm's way. Because don't you think, and this is what I said to her, guys, don't you think it would be wise for him to not chew on desks and eat paper and chew pencil erasers and all the things that he's doing? Yeah. And so, I said, well, what about, you can do a Starburst that can be offered, or, the parent can bring, an applesauce or whatever, because there's a sensory issue and sometimes a child just needs to put something in their mouth. And, I said, right now, I said, Chewies are great, but during this COVID time, I said that could be really unsanitary and I would not advise that at this time. However, it can be an option for later. But why am I teaching the OT what to do? I'm not an occupational therapist. Why am I telling you and giving you ideas? Why are you not coming up with these ideas on your own? Why are you not making the IEP appropriate for this child? Did you know it's a procedural violation if the school system does not bring up solutions for your child if they have a certain issue and something that is impacting their ability to learn? For example, a behavior intervention plan, your child has ongoing behaviors, but the school system has not even mentioned an FBA to you. Or maybe you've asked for an FBA, your child has ongoing behavior issues, and the school system has said no. That's not okay at all. It's not allowed. If you have a history and documentation of ongoing behavior issues, you ask for an FBA, the school system then says no, doesn't mention an FBA themselves, they know they're in the wrong. And I know many school systems watch me on here. Believe me, I know. And they need to know better. I had a special education in New York. I had a director of special education email me the other day. I'll have to put it up and mark out her name. But she emailed me the other day. She was like, I love what you do. I mean, I want to know about her school system now. because if you're watching me, PM me, please. I want to talk to you. I would love to bring you on live because I bet all of my audience would love to hear from a director of special education who actually appreciates parents knowing things and parents being advocates for their children. I really appreciate her email. That was super encouraging and nice, and not that I care, but actually approved of what I do because she respected what I do. And that's not to bash the school. It's to bash whatever's happening so that our children are educated, make progress, and are given the services, accommodations, and modifications that they need and deserve. That's it. Okay? If that is done, my job is done. You know? And so that's important. All right, so let me get back to this. All right. So, including methodologies in the child's IEP will benefit the child's parents and teachers. Okay? So remember. And again, guys, I just got a message on a PM. The link to the services, accommodations, and modifications course is in the comments below, but it's also on the page, okay? Just so you guys know. And make sure you post a 1 below if you're new and a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I am going to answer questions, so give me just a second. Thank you for sharing, Cheryl. And thank you for sharing, Tina. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So now we're moving on. All right. You guys know I love goals. Well, what'll really get me on a tangent too is data. You guys know that. I love data. All right. We're going to talk about, I'm trying to think about if I want to move on to goals because that'll really make this a long, we've already been talking an hour. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Are you cool with that? We'll talk about annual goals, how they can be very comprehensive, specific, measurable, SMART goals. What short-term objectives look like. I may even share my screen with you to give you kind of a whack-a-mole. Have you ever heard of that game, a whack-a-mole? The problem is from, okay, so I'll stop reading my notes. I will talk to you about it tomorrow. Yeah. So goals are awesome. I love goals. That's why I love doing IEP makeovers because I love making goals. So we're going to talk about annual goals and making sure that they're comprehensive and SMART. We're going to talk about short-term objectives. We're going to talk about academic and functional goals. Okay. And if we have time, we will move into the new evaluation procedures to monitor academic progress and progress on IEP goals. And if we don't have time, then we will talk about that on Thursday. Okay, so tomorrow is all about goals, short-term objectives, academic and functional goals. Okay, and then Thursday will be all about the new evaluation procedures. There are new evaluation procedures that can monitor your child's academic progress and progress towards their IEP goals, okay? And then we'll talk a little bit about how you give consent for evaluations or portions of the IEP, all right? So, you know, I've had parents ask, you know, can I just sign and agree to this and not this? So we'll talk about that as well. So that'll be kind of our week. So we have a lot of really good content this week. So I'm excited about that. Yes. Awesome. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're purchasing the course. Yeah. So post a heart below. Remember, post a heart below if your child has where it says a consult in, basically OTPT speech. Okay. And then I want you to post a heart below. I don't care if it's purple, blue, red, whatever. Post a heart below if you have just consultation in one of your services. Okay? So make sure you post your heart. All right? I want you to click notifications so you know when I go live, whether you catch me live or not. And I want you to join the group if you want to, which is Autism Mama Rocks IEP group. And you can put that in your search bar. And you guys better grab the course. It's super cheap, under $50, guys, under $50. It's all about services, accommodations, modifications, what to look for, what's out there. And believe me, it's more than OT, PT, and speech. And what all, do you know there's hundreds of accommodations and modifications? I go through so many. You get a list, you get a 35-page workbook. Okay, so purchase the course. The link is in the comment section. It's also on the page. It's also in the group. And PM me if you have any questions, okay? And I will talk to you guys really soon. So let me answer some questions really quick. I'm going to start at the top, y'all, okay? I'm going to get to your question, I promise. All right, so Tina, PM me, or I will PM you back because I know you PM'd me already. Stephanie, if you're still on here, I'm working on your goals tonight, girl. I'm working on them. They will all be done in a Word document and nice and pretty and ready for our IEP on Wednesday, okay? Thank you for saying I'm great. I appreciate that. I'm not trying to be great. I'm trying to help children get the services, accommodations, and modifications that they need and deserve, and I hope that something, anything that I do or say helps your child obtain that. That's what I'll say. That's what I want. All right. So Tina says, I need goals too. Minor. My 3 are your 3. What do you mean 3? Hey, Michelle. Kim says, hi. Anna, how are you? I got your message. We're good. Just message me back. Dylan, hello. You're new. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you. Logie, I'm so glad you're showing up all the time now. It's exciting to see you. Then we have Kim. I just ordered the course and I'm excited to start learning more. Cassie says, how do we get the course? Just click the link. Did you click the link? Let me know if you need help. Then thank you, Cynthia and Jan and Tina, for posting the link. I really appreciate you. Then Anna says, yeah, I'm so frustrated. I know. Me too. What is the name of that test? The C-Top 2. All right. I believe somebody posted it for me, but it's C. Oh, Jan did. It's a capital C, a capital T, capital O, capital P, -2. And it's the test for dyslexia. And it's a really good test. And then, okay, good, Cassie. I'm glad. Then Tina says, I will say my only good experience so far was with my daughter's kindergarten teacher. She is amazing and put so many accommodations in place for my daughter, then pushed to get IEP. Yeah, it's awesome. And, there are really good teachers out there. And, I just linked up with a lady, and she's in my stories. Okay, she's a teacher, and it's a good thing, guys. I know people put little tears and they, did hearts, and more people like her. And yes, she didn't get a job because she said that she watches me and that's how she was so knowledgeable. The school said, you were so knowledgeable, and she stood out from other people because of how knowledgeable she was in special education. And so I guess whoever was interviewing her said, how are you so knowledgeable? You really stand out from everybody else. And she said that she watches me live. And they said, oh, you watch an advocate? And she never heard from him again. I thought it was funny. Obviously, that job wasn't for her. She knows that. And she's going to be amazing. And she's a teacher that we all want. And I can't even tell you how many amazing teachers are on this page and on my group that I love to talk to. And I get a lot of information from them. They PM me and tell me things that are going on that they actually have no control over. And I get a lot of information from teachers. And that's important. That teachers are are aware. And it's true. Not a lot of teachers have all the power per se. Okay. It's administration, guys. It's not just the teachers. Sometimes it's the teachers, but it's the decision makers. Okay. So Elsa says, thank you. You're so welcome, and welcome to the page, and hopefully you join the group. And then we have Renee. Hi, welcome, welcome. Hey, Cheryl, long time no see. Welcome back. And then Jan says, I hate consultation. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. She said it's service provider talks to the teacher and it's crap. So true. For distance learning, that's what it says. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you guys one more thing. All right. I'm glad you brought that up, Cheryl. Do not change your IEP to say virtual learning. Do not touch your IEP at all. Okay? If it's going to say virtual learning, just leave it how it is until school starts if you have to, until August. All right? Do not put virtual learning. That's a given, guys. It's a given. They can't. Here's how the law works, okay? Your IEP is what it is, all right, unless you change it, all right? It does not need to say virtual if the kids are not allowed back in school. It doesn't change what services, accommodations, and modifications are in that IEP that is a legal document. It doesn't mean, oh, because it doesn't say virtual, it can't be given at home or online. Not true. Do not let anybody tell you differently. I can promise you it does not need to be in your IEP. And then you're going about changing it. And then you have to take it out of your IEP. It's a pain in the ass. Don't touch it. Don't put virtual in your IEP. Do not even mention it. If they mention it, say no, and that's it. Do not put virtual in your IEP. It changes nothing. It doesn't give your child anything more, and that is just fact. Okay? Do not listen to anyone who says something different. If they do, ask them for proof. Where does the policy state that? Is there a new policy out that states that? Is there a law that all of a sudden happened because of this pandemic and I need to know about it? Not true. Okay? All right. So, behavior services were consulted. That shouldn't be consulted either. But what should be consulted is a BCBA to do an FBA. That's a consultation, and then they do the evaluation. And then they should create a BIP, because typically you don't normally have an FBA done unless your child needs a BIP. All right. So if your child needs an FBA, and then they say after the FBA that your child doesn't need a BIP, you need to question that. And don't stop until you have one heck of an answer, okay? Because no child is given an FBA based off our requests or even their requests, which usually it's ours, and doesn't need one. Do you know what I mean? Do you see how that doesn't make sense? But it happens. So if your child needs an FBA or has an FBA and they say, no, your child doesn't need a BIP, you get to the bottom of that. All right. So Jan says, how can an OT tell you they work on handwriting or keyboarding in middle school when that might not be what the child needs for OT? Well, that's where goals come into play. So let me tell you a story. All right. Do you know there's a county, I won't mention the county, that I worked with, and they don't create OT goals? Have you ever in your life heard of that? I never. I think I told y'all about this when it happened, I think like over a month ago. What the heck? That doesn't make sense. You never have any type of service or any type of academics without a goal. What's the point without a goal? You have to have a goal. All right. Okay, Elsa says they meet to the teacher to discuss what they did over the meeting. I've been there. I was a one-on-one. Yep, That's exactly what they do. It's a waste of time. Okay, don't even go into my kid's class for 15 minutes to so-called consult with the teacher. Literally a waste. Go give someone else a service and let them benefit from a one-on-one, and don't even waste your 15 minutes of time. That's what I would say. And then I'd fight for that service, because that's insane. Just insane. That's right, Elsa. 15 minutes to talk to the teacher about their weekend. It's true. It's happened. Kim says, yes, they are lacking, especially with pre-kindergarten. My son was to have speech PT and teacher. Well, for the first half of the year, he only had speech as there was no PT or teacher available. The PT came after January, February time, and the teacher after. But was it in his IEP the whole time? And they didn't provide it? Jan says, consultations can be put in accommodations and modifications. Yes. And when the district wants to discharge them from the service, they can without an evaluation. That's right. When it's a service on the service page, they have to do an evaluation to discontinue the service. That's right. All right. So, all right. Good. Yay. I'm so glad you guys purchased the course. It's awesome. You're so welcome, Renee. And yes, we're going to talk about all of that this week. Dylan says, I've been popping in and out and making glitter glue slime with restless kids. Will be available later. As will this be? Yes, it will. Thanks so much. You're my new best friend, whether or not we've even met. You are wonderful. Thank you so much for all you do. You are welcome, Dylan. And will you do me a favor and send me how you make this glitter glue? That would be really awesome. I would love to learn. I think Skylar would like that. Good, Anna. Yes. And yes, also, we are going to get to behavior and talk about behavior. So hopefully, Elsa, you know everything that's going to be in the course. Thank you for Tina for helping her with that. Dylan says amen. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and helping families. No problem. Thank you for saying that, Elsa. Logie says, have a little more time now. Cheryl says, started preparing for state complaint. And good luck, Cheryl. Yeah. Cheryl, I just yesterday went through a whole state complaint that I made for, and I wrote for a parent. So look at yesterday's video. I go through the whole thing. Okay. We just moved to a charter school and had never known about OT until now. Okay. We were always told it was up to us to go to a behavioral clinic. Kim says, yes, I believe it was his IEP, and there was no one available. That's before he got into pre-K. Then he has gotten all services. Awesome. Good. All right, guys. Gosh, I've been on here for over an hour. I'm eating dinner. We'll look your course up. Yeah. So the course is in the comment section. It's all about services, accommodations, and modifications. If you're just catching this now, watch the replay. Post a 1 below if you're new, a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, a heart if in your child's IEP it says a consultation for OT, PT, or speech. I want to talk to you. And yeah, so if you have any questions about the course, I'm super excited about it. It's under $50 and you have a whole hell of a lot of information in it. And if you have any questions, please PM me or email me at support@autismmamarocksiep.com. Okay, so I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for all the love. Make sure you join the group at Autism Mama Rocks IEP group. Put that in the search section and share away if you want to. And I promise I will give you a shout out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.